Okay, 1 minute.
Now, in recent weeks, dog track supporters have tried to minimize the serious injuries that greyhounds suffer. They've used a study by the federal government to suggest that greyhound racing has a lower injury rate than girls softball. Now, when I heard this, I found this claim very interesting. The Brockton Enterprise called the author of this study and asked her what she thought of this. And she said, and this is a direct quote, "It's quite a bit of a misrepresentation," unquote. Now, John, are you willing to admit tonight that you made a mistake in making this false comparison?
John, 2 minutes.
Well, one, I never talked to the author. I was trying to put it and find something in that people might be able to gauge it by and whatever, and I'll take your word for it as far as that. But my injury rate, it is what it is. It is 0.0015%. That means you want to say, oh, every 3 or 4 days. Carey, you're trying to tell me how the dogs run, but yet you haven't been in the kennel. You don't know how we figure out races and stuff. But our basic injury rate is, out of every 1,000 dogs that run, 999 come off healthy, okay? And as far as what you're talking about, I go online and I look up orthopedic problems in dogs, and I find site after site with veterinarians saying, all the injuries my dogs deal with is what people are dealing with their pets. And the MSPCA's own yearly annual report, they take in 60 to 70,000 animals. 20 or 30,000 of them are dealing with emergency critical care. That's 30% of what they deal with, house pets. Just use your own co-sponsor's annual report. And I'm not saying comparing the two, but it's like you're saying, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. House pets are getting hurt just as much as anybody's, if not more.
Is my response?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
2 minutes.
Now, what John didn't tell you is that in his injury rate, he's counting the same dogs over and over again dozens of times. Now, the facts are the facts. A dog is injured every 3 to 4 days in Massachusetts. You heard John here tonight talk about his extensive personal experience with injured dogs. Now, you can either believe that, or you can believe him when he tries to say that somehow these injury rates are lower than the injury rate in high school softball, girls softball. Or you can hear him say, well, the injury rates are lower than what we're seeing at the MSPCA. Now, he makes arguments like that because he can't debate the facts. He didn't deny these injuries happen. He didn't deny a dog is being injured every 3 to 4 days. He didn't deny that 80% of these dogs are suffering broken legs, because those are the facts. Now, I believe, again, most Massachusetts voters will be deeply troubled by the idea that 800 greyhounds have been injured since 2002. The dog is injured every 3 to 4 days. That 80% of those are broken legs. And I believe in the better part of humanity, and I am convinced that Massachusetts voters are going to go to the ballot box, and they're going to vote for Star's Voice. They're going to vote for Hibbert. They're going to vote for these dogs who have suffered and died for generations at racetracks in our state.
John, you get 2 minutes.
Question?
Maybe you follow up.
Follow up. Okay. When you talk about the injuries,
That should be a question.
this should be my question.
Right.
No.
That was his fault.
This I asked.
He
Oh,
responded.
boy. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So my question would
Sorry.
be, it's a simple one. Isn't it true that the Massachusetts Racing Greyhound is one of the most protected animals in the Commonwealth? They are overseen by the State Agricultural Department, the Mass State Racing Commission, State Veterinarian, the Mass State Police, local health inspectors, local fire departments, local animal control offices, and even the MSPCA has inspected our facilities. The rules and regulations regarding greyhound racing are the strictest in the nation.
Fair question?
Yeah. Is it true or false?
Well, the idea, you said earlier, John, that we say frequently, we ask the question, would you treat your dog this way? And I think that is absolutely the question to ask. Now, I have an adopted greyhound named Zoe. She's the light of my life. I take her to work every day. Zoe goes home at night, and we have to fight with her for a spot on the couch. The idea that I would keep Zoe in a cage for 20 hours a day with shredded paper as bedding, and then cause her to compete against other dogs while people are gambling on them, knowing that there's a pretty decent chance she's going to be seriously injured. That is, I think that most Massachusetts voters will say, no, I would not treat my dog that way. So the idea, John, that somehow these dogs have it better than, Fido at home it's just a fantasy. And the fact that you've even gone to that type of argument, I think shows where the campaign is.
Was that a true or a false?
It's false.
So the Massachusetts Greyhound isn't the most protected. I just wanted to clarify, because you never did answer the question. Was it a true or false? It was just a one-word answer?
I think I answered pretty clearly,
Okay.
John. It's a fantasy to think that
It's
these
a
dogs are
fantasy.
the most protected dogs in the state.
It's a fantasy. If I don't abide by the rules, I will be thrown out of my industry. I would be fined. When they talk about, why was even have the rules, Carey, if they don't mean anything? You're going off on a whole different tangent. The fact is, you pressed for the rules too, to be changed. They talked about minimum crate size. He talks about confinement. Here's the thing that I don't think the general public understands. He has one dog named Zoe, who he would not have had unless there was Greyhound Racing. I deal with 90 dogs. They're my business. They're my buddies. But where are you supposed to keep 90 dogs? Am I supposed to get 90 couches? Am I supposed to have an aircraft hangar to keep them in? Be realistic. The horses at Suffolk Down, they treat them as good as they can, but they go back to a stable for their safety. Mine, I have 90 dogs that I have to keep. They set the standard. They're safe. They're comfortable. Otherwise, I would be thrown out of it.